G'day and welcome to this workshop on a crash course using the internet to leverage your business. My name's Mick. I'm the owner of Redcliffe Marketing Labs, and this presentation is a part of the series being run for the Redcliffe City Chamber of Commerce. This was run as a live webinar, but unfortunately the audio and the recording suffered some issues, so I'm just going to sit here now and re-record the presentation so you can get a chance to watch it in your own time later on. So let's crack on with things. The first thing I want to do is just give you a quick overview of what we're going to talk about tonight. So we're just going to look at an introduction about the market forces and I guess position the relevance of what we're going to talk about to what you're seeing out there in the marketplace and in the real world. Then we're going to walk through different areas of focus in your business where you can be making tweaks to get leverage. We're looking at the front end of the business, getting new prospects in and keeping current customers, and then looking at the back end of things like price, size, frequency of purchases and costs, and our profit at the end result. We'll look at some handy tools and websites to know about that are going to help with your business, and then we'll look at some action steps and cover some questions. So the whole premise of this presentation is the fact that you don't know what you don't know. And so we're going to be moving really fast and covering a lot of areas with the intent that you can then go out once you know about something and research it on Google or go and ask people about it. But if you don't know it exists, then it's very hard to find out more about that. So it's all about how we can use the internet in our business to be more profitable, make things easier, give us more flexibility, and also establish better relationships with our customers. So listen in, at the end of the presentation I'll tell you how you can get a copy of the slides and a link to all the tools that are mentioned. So get ready, a heap of information, it's all good content, there's nothing to sell here, so sit back and take it all in at your own pace. Let's look at some market forces that are going to make all this, what we're going to cover in this presentation, relevant. So economic, social and technology. So on the economic side of things, we're recording this in June, July 2012, and the world economy is still quite a gloomy outlook. And it's here locally in Queensland and Australia, it's very much a roller coaster economy or a two-part economy. There's parts which are booming, connected with mines and resources, and then again lots of parts of the economy which are quite slow and struggling. On the retail side of things, generally the reports are that retail spending's down, and that's affecting business investment. At the same time, for businesses, the cost of traditional advertising is increasing, while audiences are now split between so many different channels. There's multiple TV stations, there's free-to-air, there's pay TV, you've got your radio, online, digital, AM, different newspapers, whole series now of magazines, and then again magazines online and offline, your mail, social media, online videos, mobile phones. So the customer base are now split between so many different things, and how do you reach them? We're also looking at the rise of online stores. These stores have very low running costs and overheads, which allows them to compete on price with your generic, or your more traditional, I should say, bricks and mortar businesses. And the other thing we're seeing here in Australia as well as globally is big companies are now starting to buy up and consolidate in the markets. So you really do need, in some markets, size to be effective and compete. And the things we're going to look at here in this workshop are aimed at getting around some of those things. On the social side of things, we're seeing changes in behaviour. I guess you can call it generically consumer behaviour, but it's true for each of us. More and more we're shopping online, and we're doing it after hours when traditional stores are shut. We also research all our purchases online. Access to information with the internet is incredibly easy, so you can find out about all kinds of products and look at reviews and comparisons and get all the specs well before you walk into a store. And quite often, when you walk into a business, you know just as much as the salesperson about that product. There's also just a generic push to public transport, so a lot of people are going to have more free time to be sitting there and surfing online through mobile phones. And our social networks, we rely on them really very, very heavily to recommend things for us. So there's just so much information out there, so much advertising, that, where it's a barbecue or back through social media, we'll rely on what our network, our friends and family that we're connected to, on what they recommend and say is good. The statistics out there as well that a lot of people will take online reviews, even from complete strangers, into account and as true accounts. So one of the quotes from the Google chairman, Eric Schmidt, is that from the beginning of time to 2003, all the information that was gathered or created in that time is now being collected and indexed by Google every 2 days. So there's billions of web pages out there growing every hour, and the only way we can filter through it is through that sort of social recommendation from our network. Technology-wise, the cost of mobile devices and the cost of internet access is just absolutely plummeting, and people have internet with them almost wherever they are. Bandwidth here in Australia, the national broadband network is about to roll out, and so that's going to bring great bandwidth to households and businesses, and we expect to see explosion in online services at affordable prices. Again, just to the worldwide scale, business can set up online as a service and be just as easily serve someone in Australia as they can around the world, and have huge economies of scale. They bring their price down. The other thing you're looking at is a whole generation of, and I guess that's the wrong word, but Gen Y business owners are entering the market, and they're incredibly comfortable with operating online. And so then no hassles at all about using the new technologies to push and market and sell and deliver on their businesses. So these are all big global trends that are pushing in a direction, and there's a window of opportunity now for businesses that are ready to move and take advantage of these to get ahead, ride these trends, and make the most of it to improve their businesses. So that's the background of what we're going to talk about. Now we're going to jump into some specifics, and we're going to look at the front end. So we're going to look at how you get customers into your business. So we're looking at new prospects and leads, and then also retention and keeping the current customers that we already have. And it starts with getting new prospects and leads into our business. So probably the best place to start is back with our traditional website. And you've got to think about the cost. I see people sort of balk at paying a couple $100, a couple $1,000 for a new website. But you need to look at it as if it's a staff member that you're adding to your business. It's going to work 24/7, 365 days a year. And that's the value proposition. If you look at your salary costs for taking on a new staff member and how many sales they'll bring in, and then compare that to the work and the importance and the sales that your website brings in, that's where your value proposition and comparison comes from. So your website, even with all these different social media sites and Facebook and things like that around, your website's still your company home base online, and you control it. You can put up the information you want, you can move it around, whereas if you're building your online presence in your business on someone else's platform, so on Facebook, on Twitter, on a platform or a website that's owned by someone else, then you could easily wake up and have that all lost overnight if something goes wrong. And again, Facebook, many businesses will lose their page because they go and break the rules that Facebook has for their guidelines. So you do want to have a website. The costs, they are really quite low and in comparison to other business costs. The other thing you do want to have tied in with your website is a professional email. So I see a lot of businesses with Optus, net.com.au or Big Pond addresses as their actual business address. And as soon as I see that just screams to me that it's not a professional business and it's being run fairly ad hoc. So as soon as you see surferdude51 at hotmail.com on someone's business card, it just doesn't do the branding, the reputation any good. So you want to have a professional email address, which is a domain name which relates to your business and ideally your website. And again, with website domain names, there's trademark issues and things like that, but it's in a lot of cases first in, best dressed. So you want to go out and, even if you're not planning to build a website straight away, go and grab the domain name that fits your business the best. Something you need to consider as well is how the website works on mobile devices. Because, again, these are just exploding. This same time last year, about 37% of Australians had a smartphone. Now it's up to 52%, and that's just rocketing up. So people will be accessing the internet more and more from small devices and from mobile phones. About 10% of worldwide traffic at the moment on the internet is from mobile devices. So you need to look at that. And again, especially as a local business, they're saying between a third and a half of all local searches are now on mobile devices. In many cases, your websites, traditional websites, look terrible and are awfully hard to use on a small screen. So you do want to check your website now and to see how it works on a small screen. Google Places is where I get a lot of businesses to start. And these are the map listings, the free map listings that Google has. So if you type in a local search, so Brisbane plumber or Redcliffe painter, then quite often what you'll see is the local pages or these Google Places pages come up with the associated map and the pins. So these are free listings that Google has, and a lot of time they'll scrape the information from places like Yellow Pages or True Local so they can fill out their database. But you need to go in, if you haven't already, and actively claim your listing and fill it out completely, make sure it's linked to your website, upload some photos and videos if you have it, and that's going to help that site rank better. It's also got a function there where you can put in a equivalent of a shopper docket for free. So you can run offers that people can redeem and bring into your store, and it's nil cost for you other than your discount, but you're not actually paying a company like Shopper Docket to do it. So Google Places is something you definitely want to check out. Search engine optimization can be a bit of a black art. It's very hard to understand because some businesses make it quite difficult to explain in their services how they work. But generally, it's about creating content that relates to your field or your industry and structuring it in such a way that the search engines can find it and know what your website is about. So on your website, there's things called meta tags, and we're talking about a title, a description, and keywords. And these are the things you want to, structure and write so that it makes sense for people looking for your website and tells the search engines what your pages are about. So if you see in search results, you see results talking about welcome or home, well, that's a lost opportunity to have the relevant information about your business in those title tags. So again, quickly, just do a search for your business and see how your results come up in Google. And a red flag is if you see welcome or home in your Google search results. A big part is also backlinks. So search engine optimization companies will go out and create content and create links back to your website. And very generically, the more links and the greater the value of those links back to your website, the more authority and the more trust that Google has in your website, and it will generally rank it higher. So it's all about, SEO is all about dominating the search results. When people are looking for your business, being able to turn up in the top couple of results in Google, because very few people will go to the second page. And we generally talk about Google with this because in the Australian market, about 92% of searches are done on Google rather than on Bing and Yahoo. So it depends on a lot of variables. Something to be aware of though is that if you do dodgy SEO, so the sites out there like Fiverr, where you can pay someone $5 to go out and create a couple of thousand links with software, then you do run into a problem where if Google takes affront at what you've done, they can actually just remove your website from the search results altogether, and you almost become invisible that way. So if you are getting SEO done, just make sure that it makes sense and it doesn't seem too good to be true. There's lots of paid advertising online. So the two big ones for most local businesses are Google AdWords and Facebook ads. So Google AdWords is a way of getting to the top of Google inside of about 24 hours. These are the paid adverts you see at the top of Google on the right-hand side. They're highly targeted, so you can set it to a geographic area, so only people in that area will see your ads, and you link it to what people are searching for. So you tie it back to keyword phrases that people are typing in. You can set budgets and limitations, so you've got quite a lot of control over your costs, and you can rotate the ads through. So instead of just running one ad like you would in the newspaper, you can have 3, 4, 5 ads in different headlines and text copy, and Google will rotate those ads through, and over time you can work out which are the best ads. There's something called a pay-per-acquisition with Google as well, and what you can do there is it's a scheme where you actually just set up and just pay per converted lead, and so it's something to look into. It's a little bit more in depth. So that's the search network. There's also the display network, which is a lot of the banners that you'll see on different websites as you move around the web. And these are paid adverts again. So you have your graphics done up, and as people are moving around different blogs and different news sites, you've got the opportunity of showing your banners on those websites. And again, that's all handled through Google. There's something called remarketing and remarketing cookies. This is quite a hot topic in the online advertising arena at the moment. What you can do is on your website have a set code there, so when people come and visit your website, you can drop a cookie on their browser and basically tag them, and then as they move around the rest of the web and are shown ads, you can almost you can follow them around as they travel around and show them your ads. So wherever they go, your ads show up, and it makes you appear as a very big company, and it's a great way of driving traffic back to your website for people who have already visited your website once. The big thing about AdWords is you can just measure everything. So you measure your clicks, your impressions, and your conversion. So it's a very metrics based, and rather than just guessing, you get a lot of data to work out if your advertising is working or not. Facebook ads, very similar, I guess, in some of the metrics, and has some amazing targeting options. So you can target males between 40 and 50 who live within 15 kilometres of Redcliffe and are interested in fishing. So you can narrow down to very targeted markets for your customers. Same sort of thing, you can do ad rotations to work out what the best ads are, what headlines and which pictures appeal most to your target market, and lots of measurement. And the same thing again, it's a very small barrier to entry. You can start with $5, $10 of ads and just give it a go and see how it works. And similarly, you can control your budget, how much you want to spend per day, how much you want to spend per click, and things like that. So some people out there who are working this sort of stuff, those are the most advanced direct marketing tools out there. And it's something to definitely consider if you haven't looked at that yet. Press releases are, again, growing in popularity, and there's a reason big companies write press releases. If you want to have a greater chance of getting free publicity through the press, then you can definitely give yourself a leg up by actually putting your news out there and creating your own news. So press releases are one way to do that, and you can submit it to different media outlets. But just totally separate to that is it's a great for getting content out there and having the search engines find it to help your website rank and also just drive traffic back. So you'll find lots of free press release websites around the web where you can go out, upload your press release to their site, and they'll host that for you. And if journalists then come across that, you've got a chance of getting in front of their eyes, but also the search engines are going to find that content out there and relate it back to your website. So press releases are another tool you can use in your arsenal. Social media, of course, there's all different types. Probably your biggest payback at the moment, if you're limited on time, is going to be Facebook. But they will all have different audiences and different impacts. And now with, again, tying back into search engine optimization, there's just been so many people out there creating links and sort of, I guess, fake content that many of the search engines have to rely now on the sharing of content by actual people through social media as a very strong signal of if a website is relevant and has authority. So using any of these social media sites are going to help your visibility. It's going to allow you to put out information about your company that you want people to find. So it gives you a chance to control your reputation and get search engine results just by itself. So just having a Facebook page will give you another search engine result, for example. It's all about market leadership. You don't want to go onto social media and say, buy my stuff. You want to position your company and your personal branding or your company branding and position yourself as someone who knows what's going on in the industry and a go-to source rather than trying to hard sell anything. It's also a great avenue for customer service And many of these websites for social media are all optimized for mobile. So even if you can't get to your home website looking good on a mobile, you'll know that your Facebook page, your YouTube, your Twitter account, they'll all work fine for people who are on mobile phones. So that's a big plus. On Facebook, you want to make sure you've got a business page and not a personal profile for your business. There's a lot of advantages, but you just need to check that you've got people who are likers and not friends for your business. Probably want to link between Facebook and your website, so again drive traffic off Facebook back to your website. And the same thing again on your website, doesn't hurt to link to your Facebook page to give people somewhere else they can go check out information about your business and like your page so they can keep in contact. It's also connected to Twitter, so that whenever you post on Facebook, it automatically goes out on Twitter and you get twice the visibility for the same amount of work. YouTube is huge already, but again, getting more and more important, and you can see this taking a lot of the share or the market share audience of TVs, or traditional, I shouldn't say so much TVs, but traditional TV stations. A huge amount of TVs being sold right now are internet connected, so people are actually surfing the web and watching YouTube videos on their TV. It's great for mobile devices. YouTube is owned by Google, and it's the second largest search engine in the world, and YouTube videos quite frequently turn up in the main Google search results as well. With the London Olympics about to kick off, you're going to see a huge amount of online video, and there's other video sharing sites out there as well. Vimeo, Kyogo, there's a whole heap. YouTube is probably still the biggest one if you're going to try and get things up. And then again, taking the YouTube videos back from YouTube and embedding them on your website is going to make your websites more accessible and engaging for customers. So video is something you're going to see just more and more of as we move forward. Twitter is a fantastic news source. I'm not going to recommend it to local businesses at the moment as a fantastic lead generator, because just not enough people here in Australia are on it. And that's why I suggested to link Facebook across and just auto post from Facebook, which is not technically the best way to do it, but if you're time poor, it's one way to do it. But being able to search and get customer sentiment back and using Twitter as a customer service tool is fantastic, and it's a great way to get news about what's happening in the local area and in your industry. It's also, again, very, very easy to be using on smartphones. Google Plus is Google's social media blanket, I guess, between all their different services. And the same thing, you want to have a business page on Google Plus just as you do on Facebook. And it's becoming, again, more and more important because it's tying back in with Google search results and the SEO. And I think you'll see in the next couple of months and in the next year, a lot of people will have adverts saying follow us on Google Plus rather than where now they've got like us on Facebook. So you definitely want to do that, and also have a Google Plus One button on your website so people can share through the Google network and promote your website that way, because again, that is going to become very important for search engine optimization and ranking well in Google. LinkedIn has a very professional audience, and you set yourself up there a profile for yourself as a business owner, your staff. It'd be great to have them on there because, again, it's another chance that people can find your business through your staff. And you can have a company profile on LinkedIn as well. There's groups. You can go and join different networking here, or topic or niche or industry groups on LinkedIn, and they act as discussion boards. So you can again be sharing information about your industry and being visible and picking up leads that way. They also have a question and answer section, so you can go and ask any kind of question you've got and get expert answers back from people around the world. In the same way, you can actually go onto these question sites to see what people are asking, and if you know the answer, you can answer them, and that's a great way of getting some expert status and visibility for that audience. So that's a Q&A section in LinkedIn. Pinterest is taking off. It's a image sharing site. Foursquare ties in with mobile phones, and people can check in at your business, and it's got great for viral visibility and discovery. And you can also, I guess, reward people or sort of hold a carrot for them to have repeat businesses. So just like many places, like coffee shops will have a card which gets punched, and on your 10th visit you get a free coffee, something like that. Well, you can automate that process and do it digitally through Foursquare, so people can check in multiple times and unlock prizes or discounts. Flickr, again, a photo sharing site. Instagram is a mobile optimized way of sharing photos, and Facebook just bought it for $1 billion. And so they definitely see something and they see value in Instagram. A couple of other quick websites here to help you out with your social media use. Noam.com will allow you to put in a username and see if it's taken on the different social media networks. And what we're looking at here again is it's very much the Wild West. It's first in, best dressed with usernames. So you want to go out and grab one that makes sense for your business as soon as you can, even if you don't plan on creating those profiles or filling them out just yet. It just basically holds that space for you. And it's not critical, but it would make things much easier if you had the same username on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and these different other social media sites, so that you don't have to keep having a different name. So what I'm talking about there is be facebook.com/your business name, youtube.com/your business name as well, rather than having two different names on the different social networks. It's just better branding and better image if you can get that. Hootsuite and Buffer app are great tools that allow you to semi-automate your social media posting, so you don't have to feel like you have to be in front of the computer the whole time. You can set things up and schedule posts, so you can come in on a Monday morning, spend half an hour and program out some content and posts to go out during the week, and that will just happen automatically once it's set up. But probably the key for most small business owners is the mobile phone, just because you can update these different networks on the go. So while you're waiting at the bank, or if someone's, again, coming back to a coffee shop, if you've just done some coffee art, you can snap a photo of the coffee cup and upload that. And again, take testimonials. You can just shoot a quick video testimonial of one of your customers. But it's a way of doing it on the go rather than trying to carve out time in your day to do social media when you're already pretty flat strapped. So the mobile phone is definitely a very, very handy tool to get this done. There's no shortage of business directories out there. So again, this is just a job you do once, you don't have to worry about it again, is go through True Local, Start Local, Hot Frog, Australian business listings, even Redcliffe Online, local councils, and go through all these different directory listings and fill out your details and create a listing for your business. Many of them allow you to include photos, links to YouTube videos and things like that. So it just gives you, again, more chances to be found in the search engines. And the other thing is that every time Google finds your business name, your address, and your telephone number together on a page, it counts as something they call a citation. And the more citations Google has for your business, the more trust they have that you are an actual real business rather than someone just faking a business. And that's going to help that Google map listing that we looked at earlier. So the more these citations, so the more listings you can get for your business on different directories, is going to help your ranking on the local searches. Right, blogging, you'll see a lot of information there online about blogging. You'll read in the news. It's just really generating content that is around your business or your niche and establishing market leadership, being the go-to people in your area for whatever it is you do. It's also great in the terms of fresh content. The search engines love having fresh new content. And if you're regularly putting out new information on your website, again, that's going to help them come back, visit your website. It's going to help your rankings. And also traffic, just naturally. People come read what it is, and at the same time, you're positioning yourself as an expert. So it's just every new page, every new update to your blog you put on your website is one more way that people can come into your website and find you. So it's like an extra doorway. The concept of lead magnets. These are things you can put out there that will allow a possible prospect to put their hand up and identify themselves. So it could be a consumer awareness guide, ebooks, video, audio. It could be coupons, it could be a checklist. So if you're a moving company, it could be a moving day checklist, or a pet shop, a checklist of how to choose your dog. For restaurants and cafes, it might be a free birthday breakfast or dinner. And you have this on your website and you advertise it on social media or on your flyers or newspaper ad, and you tie it in with an email capture. So when people come to your website, in order to get the lead magnet, the ebook, the checklist, the consumer guide, they have to leave their email address with you, and it's tied in with a email marketing software, which automatically will deliver the ebook, the video that the person's looking for. At the same time, they're now in your marketing database, so you can follow up with them later on. And because they've been interested enough to actually visit your website, get the free download or the free offer or the coupon, well, they've identified themselves as someone who's actually interested in your products and services. And so rather than just guessing, you've now got a targeted list of prospects that you can work with your email database. Webinars are a great way to leverage your time. Webinars are pretty much what you're watching now. It's real time, so it's a live online presentation where people can interact with you. It gives you the ability to talk one-to-many. So instead of having to go one-to-one all the time with new prospects, you can talk to multiple people at once. And the other thing is a recording. So obviously, in this case, the recording, the audio didn't work out. That's why I'm doing it again now. But when you run these live events, you can record it and then put them up online, and it's extra leverage. So just as you're sitting here listening to me talk now, I'm off doing other things and hopefully building my business in other areas, but I'm still transferring information across and talking to you. So it is a great way of getting leverage into your business. Mobile apps are, again, huge. You're just going to see more and more of this, and it's becoming easier and easier and cheaper to make mobile apps. And it's a great real estate. If you can get your app onto someone's smartphone, so either Google or an iPhone, it's it's something they have with them all the time. You've got the ability to use push notifications, so very much like SMS. So anyone who has your app installed on their phone, you can push out specials or updates or news about your business to them. Right, magazine publishing. You can publish magazines online, and there's obviously no distribution or printing costs. You can do it on the web. There's one website called issuu.com, so issuu.com, issuu.com. You can have a look at, and it allows you to put up PDF and online magazines that people actually flick through online. The other one big area that's taking off at the moment as well is iTunes. The ability to publish magazines for the iPad is going to be a huge growth market. And again, generally your iPad owners and users are people who have disposable income. And again, from businesses targeting that type of thing, it's a great customer base to be able to get a magazine or your content out on an iPad through Apple and have the power of Apple promoting your business. QR codes are the funny little square mobile phone barcodes that you see pop up. In Australia, we're well behind on these. If you travel in Europe, Asia, especially in the US, you'll see lots of these on billboards and shop fronts. Here in Australia, it's just we're slightly behind, but you see it now, and every time you open a newspaper, there'll be ads, especially in the real estate section now with these QR codes. And what they are is you can basically point your mobile phone camera at these codes, and it'll take you to a website or a video, or you can encode an SMS message. There's a whole heap of things you can do on that, and there's another webinar in this series which will go into depth on QR codes. And so there's something to check out. Again, just because of how important mobile phones are and the fact we carry them on us all the time, that's probably why you want to be looking at QR codes, at least for your shop front or your flyers or your newspaper ads. Augmented reality ties in, builds on QR codes. So again, this is talking about mobile phones and the camera. And one of the applications out there that's gaining a lot of traction is called Layer. So what you can do is pick up your phone, look through the viewfinder of your camera, and scan around the horizon and get back information about houses for sale, local businesses. You can pull up reviews, or you can ring the business straight away. And as you point the phone at the different businesses, this information just updates live on the phone as you're pointing it around. So it's what they're calling augmented reality. So going to be great for real estate, and there's already local companies using this here in Brisbane and Redcliffe. So if you want to check that out here locally, look up Chile Real Estate. They're using that. Apple iTunes, if you can get recordings of MP3s and have a podcast up there, again, you've got the power of Apple out there as another search engine promoting your content to its users, the people with iPhones or any kind of MP3 player. It's just another way of driving traffic back to your website, and it's all back to market leadership. There's not going to be that many local butchers putting out information on iTunes and having podcasts, whereas if you can have an educational series where you interview people or talk about different cuts of meat, that's going to set you miles apart and again drive traffic back to your website and to your business. Same thing with Amazon. It's getting easier and easier to publish electronic books on Amazon. And there's one local hairstylist who has books on Amazon. And again, when people buy the book or find it just through the search engine, it's a way of driving traffic back and building their market leadership and their branding. There's a website called Harrow, so it's short for Help a Reporter Out. And this is, and similar sites, there's another one called sourcebottle.com.au. And these are sites which work two ways. You have publishing companies and reporters will go out and request for interviews on different topics. And as a business, you can go along and see what different reporters and media outlets are looking for. And if your business ties in with that, or you can be an expert commentary, or you can give expert commentary on that article, you can approach them through the sites, make the connection, and that's one great way of getting your quotes into media articles, and again getting publicity and links back to your website that way. So that's Harrow, or just look up Help a Reporter Out and sourcebottle.com.au. Check those. Eventbrite and meetup.com are two event organising sites. Again, they rank great in search engines and have their own internal search. So if you've got a kind of business where you can be running workshops or training sessions, then these are the types of websites where you want to get your businesses listed and the details of your events, because it'll help people find you on there. It'll help people find you through the Google results. And if you're doing ticketing, it's fantastic as well. It'll handle all your RSVPing, payments for your tickets, and they give you attendance lists. So it's Eventbrite and meetup.com. Google Maps we've talked about, and there's all kinds of ways you can be using that separately to the places. There's lots of places, because it's aerial and satellite photography, there's companies out there. If you can get to your roof and write or paint the business name or your logo on the roof, then whenever people are moving around the maps on the satellite view, it's another way you can get your business in front of their eyeballs. And so, look, I use Google Maps a lot of the time, and if you use it yourself, you'll know as you're scrolling around looking at things, very few businesses have in it their name or a logo on top, and if you do that, you'll definitely stand out. So it's just a bit of creative marketing in that aspect. There's wasted space on top of your roof too if you're not using it for anything else. Daily deal sites, so Scoopon, Groupon, you could look at those. Again, you just have to weigh up obviously the front end cost and whether you're going to make that back on future sales, because they can be quite expensive. But again, another way of getting visibility and driving traffic back to your website. Signage is pretty straightforward. So talking about your vehicles or your shop front or in store, and again, you're pretty limited in what information you can include on fixed signage. So the whole idea is where you can get them back online, where there's lots of space. It costs nothing to add extra words and images and video to a website. So you can include all the extra detail there, which you can't fit in on a sign or on the shop front. So where you can, you want to try and get people off the signage and on and into the online world, so they can look at that. And again, that's where QR codes are good, because you can get people from their mobile phones onto the web very quickly. Affiliates or partnerships. One way, and basically the easiest way to describe this, if you're selling something online and doing e-commerce, you can set up special links for your affiliates or partners. And when they have this link on their websites or in their promotions, and people click on through on that link, you can track the referral sources who introduce people to buy your products. And then you can pay a commission to those people and have that set up and run it automatically. So they've got a vested interest in promoting your business, and they'll go out and spread links or drive people and traffic back to your website, and in return they get a commission of what the people who visit buy. So it's a powerful way of getting traffic to your website, and I guess adding virtual salespeople is the affiliate system. So that is a whole heap of information there on how you can get new prospects and leads into your business using different aspects and different tools and websites on the internet. Next thing we're going to look at is, now we've got all these people coming to our website or our social media properties, how we can actually convert them and increase the percentage of people who turn from prospects and leads into new customers. The first thing we're going to cover in conversions is the idea of having a clear call to action on your website. Many small business websites can be fairly confusing to navigate and don't really tell the visitor what you want them to do. So what you need to do is think about what's the most important thing you want your visitor to do when they visit your website, and then go and check your website and see if that's really obvious and highlight that. So maybe you want them to phone you and call through to the business. If that's the case, then you want to have your phone number really large and prominent on the first page, rather than having to force them to click through to the Contact Us page every time they visit the website. So it just depends on what you want, but you need to highlight that. And generally, you don't want to have a heap of different options. So you can only really have one, ideally maybe two strong call to actions. Otherwise, you're just going to confuse people with too many different things to do. So just check your website and each page, and just make sure there's something clear there that when they finish reading, if it's text and they get to the bottom of the website, that there's something there that you're asking them to do or telling them to do. Don't leave it up to them to make their minds up. Tell them quite specifically what they should do. So that's the idea of having a call to action to improve your conversions. With that, it's making your information easy to find on your website. So the easiest way to do this is probably get someone who's got fresh eyes rather than you or your staff trying to look at your website. Get a family member or friends to go and give some honest feedback on your website, whether the information you've got is easy to find. Copywriting is, I guess, a skill of writing the words in such a way that it's persuasive. So it's persuasive writing. It's sales in print. The idea here is to be benefit focused. So if you're just talking about the features and about your company without telling people what you're doing for them, so what's the benefit of the person who's reading it in buying or the product or the service or in working with you, and then you need to probably rewrite that. So you're going to tell them how you're going to improve their situation, what problem of theirs you're going to solve, and how their life is going to be better after buying your product or working with you. So one quick way of that is doing an audit of your website and looking how many times you talk about you, as in you the visitor, you the potential customer, and how many times you talk about we, us, I, as in the business. So if you find that a lot of your website copy and a lot of your text is talking about you and all the things you've done as a business, then you may want to go back through and rewrite that so that you're talking about the person who's visiting and make it focused on them rather than on you as a company. Because it's just natural that for people, we don't really care about other people, we care about us. We want to know what's in it for us. Frequently asked questions, or shortened, often you'll see them called FAQs. These are great for search engines because the questions that your customers are always asking you, and time again, is the same things that people are going to be typing into the search engines. So if you can have a page or a post or information on your website about those questions, then it's great for a number of reasons. One, it's fantastic for search engines because you've got the text there that answers the questions that people are looking for. And so the search engines are going to serve up your pages in the search results when people are looking for that. But the other thing is that you can use them to answer common objections that people have during the sales process. So you can answer them up front, even if they haven't thought of those questions yet. And it's one way of, again, speeding up the sales process. So when people come in and call you or come and see your staff, they already have had that information. They've already had their objections sort of put to rest, or their concerns, and it's going to make the sales process and save you a lot of time there as well. It also gives people an idea of what questions they should be asking so that they are more informed and they do get the best solution for their problem or what the aspect they're looking for. So frequently asked questions, if you don't have them on a website, that's something you can definitely look at to improve your conversion rate. Email capture, again, talking about lead magnets, a free giveaway, a free trial, some coupons, is a great way of getting someone's details. Because again, if you think back to your own experience, think how many websites you visited in your life and how many of those websites you would go back to a second or a third time. And it's a really small percentage. So chances are if someone visits your website and then leaves without contacting you or without you getting their email address, it's going to be very hard to reach them again. If you can trade something of a high perceived value to them, so some kind of information or a product or a discount or a trial offer, which doesn't cost you a lot to give in return for an email address, then again, you're building up that email marketing database of people who are interested, and it gives you a second chance to continue the conversation with them, which can be automated, set up so you can have a series of emails written which will go out at a time period. So one the next day, maybe 2 days later, another one the next week. And it gives you more chance to explain the benefits of your products and what it's going to do for the customer once they've actually left your website. Testimonials, again, just provide great social proof. Because, again, a lot of us are pretty busy, and just as humans, we use rules of thumb to try and make decisions just because there is so much information out there. So often we're not looking for the best solution, we're just looking for an acceptable solution. And that social proof may help us choose your product or service if we can see that other people have been happy with it and made the decision to go with you. So when you're doing testimonials, a video testimonial trumps everything else. We're used to all the extra cues of people's expressions, facial expressions, how they talk. It's very hard to fake a video testimonial, whereas in text it could just be something that someone's put up. Try and include a name, even if it's just a first name, and it'd be great if you include an image of the person leaving the testimonial, as well as a suburb or an occupation. So you can say Bill, who is a plumber in Redcliffe or Brisbane. The more information you can include about the person leaving the testimonial, the more chance that people reading it will connect with it. So if I'm a plumber and I see a testimonial from another plumber on a product or service, that's going to be ring quite true to me because someone like me has made the decision to trust you and they're happy with your service. So the chances of me being happy are higher. So including that occupation or suburb and an image is just going to bolster the believability and the social proof of testimonials. If you can get a celebrity testimonial, well, then that's great as well, because obviously the person's putting their name and reputation on the line, and you're basically basking in some of their celebrity status that way. Anything you can do to improve your authority or your trust is going to help people convert to customers. So there's different types of badges that you can put on your website as far as credit card safety and trust. You can put up logos of your customers or your clients if they're businesses. And again, what you're doing there is you're basically riding on a bit of their brand awareness. And again, the fact that these brands trusted you to deliver a product or service, then you must be you must be able to deliver on what you say you're going to deliver. Same thing with tourism logos. If you're in the tourism industry, it'd be great if you can grab a couple of either state government or the Australian tourism logos and put those on your website. Video walkthroughs are very effective depending on your business, whether it's a venue or even just a video walkthrough of your product, how it works and how it's delivered. It takes away a bit of the unknown and takes away the risk for the person if they can see your product in action, or if they can see your venue through video. It's just going to build that connection and take away some of the questions or the unknowns. So video in general and video walkthrough is a very effective way of increasing your conversion on your website. If you're a physical business with a map, with a location which people will come to, then include a map. Tell people how to get to your shop. And again, it's very easy online. You'll find with the mobile websites, people will be able to click on the map function, and with the GPS and the phone, it'll tell them how far, how long, and give them the route to get to your actual shop location. So include a map if that makes sense for your business. A lot of websites will have a calendar booking service, so it might be for accommodation where people can book online or book a restaurant table. If you're a consultant, there's different tools out there that allow people to book in an appointment with you, and one of those services is called tungle.me, tungle.me. Again, what you're doing is automating and systemizing part of your business. It's allowing someone who comes along at 9 o'clock at night, when there's no reception or no one to take their calls, it allows them to still buy off you and make a booking or a reservation. Normally, when the doors would be shut, they wouldn't normally be able to do it. Another really big aspect of improving your conversion rate is just purely in testing, what they call conversion testing. So being online, there's a whole heap of interesting things you can do with your website. And one of them is what we call A/B testing. So you can have two different versions of your homepage or another page. And the easiest one to use is Google, but there's different services out there which will show one visitor one page and then the next visitor another page. And over time, you can work out which page gets the best result that you're after, and then switch out the losing page and put the winning page in. So you could test different images, or you could test different page layout, or different headlines or different text, and see which one works the best. And that's just testing one thing at a time. There's another testing regime out there called multivariate testing, where you can test a whole heap of different aspects at once. And again, the software over time and over visitors will tell you what format and what combination of headlines, images, and placement on your website works the best for the people coming through. So you can take your best guess at what you think will work, but the marketplace and the visitors will actually tell you what works the best just through analytics and figures. So another website you can check out there is called a Visual Website Optimizer. So that's Visual Website Optimizer. Live chat is a very useful tool, and again, quite reasonably priced for the different tools there. And it allows people, when they land on your website, they can talk to one of your live operators or a customer service rep, or even yourself if it's a smaller business. And you can answer their questions there on the spot, or ask them what they're looking for, and maybe point them in the right direction on your website for what they need to find, and even organise a booking or appointment there on the spot. So it's again a very important tool for conversions, having some kind of live chat functionality. Support desks as well. One of the big companies here is called Zendesk. If you haven't come across a support desk before, probably the easiest way to explain it, if you've ever had an email from a customer come in and you've just basically lost it in all the emails that come through, their email has disappeared in the spam, or you just lost it in amongst all the other emails. What support desks do will keep the customer emails out of your general inbox in a dedicated support platform. And there you can respond to those ones without losing it in an email, and it lives outside your email system, outside your inbox. So multiple people can correspond with the customer, and you can log in and see where that is up to, and you can see what the last person wrote. And that way, if the person looking after the complaint or the issue goes away on holidays, you can still get to all the emails without being locked up in someone's inbox. So support desks are quite useful. And again, a lot of them will come with mobile apps, so you can handle your customer support while you're on the road and on the go straight from your mobile phone. So probably the easiest one to look at there again is called Zendesk. Online reviews are super important. So I can't plug this one enough. Again, it comes back to that idea there's just so much information out there, and that we're relying on other people to sift that information and leave reviews on businesses to help us make a decision on who to go with. So let me flick back here. So places, if you can get people to leave reviews for you, the one you want to try for first of all is the Google local pages. So that's that map listing, because your reviews will show up and give you a score within the Google search results. So this has just changed now to a different scoring system, and it's out of 30. So once you get enough reviews, Google will give you a score out of 30 to say how good your business is. So if you've got poor reviews out there, you're also going to get a very poor score out of 30. Now the idea is that it's generally people will go and leave an online review if they've had a bad experience more than if they've had a good experience. So you've got to inoculate yourself and get your happy customers go out there and leave good results for you or good reviews. One, because it helps your conversion rate when people come through and see the positive reviews left about your business or your service. But also the day that comes along and you unfortunately get a bad review, it's going to happen to everyone, unfortunately, maybe once or twice. But that bad review will be balanced out by all the good reviews that are left, rather than just having one or two bad reviews out there and that's all that people can find about you. So other places you can get reviews left are on Yelp, a True Local, Word of Mouth Online, Hot Frog, Start Local, a TripAdvisor, Urban Spoon. So you want to actively promote and go out and get these reviews now. And again, it ties back in with the search results as well. So reviews are super critical, and rather than just putting them up on your website, it's better off to have the reviews somewhere else. And then what you can do is just go and cut and paste them from those other sites back on your website, which ties back in with your reputation management. So all of us in our businesses, we only got the one reputation, and it's whatever people say about us rather than what we say about ourselves. And online, it's found when people go look for a hotel or a restaurant, they're looking at the reviews. So a couple of tools you want to look at to help monitor your reputation is Google Alerts. Again, a free service from Google where you put in your email address and you put in the term you're interested in. So in this case, you put in your business name, or maybe that of your competitors or some key staff. And whenever Google finds a new web page with your business listed, it'll send you an email saying we've just found this page with the text you put in. So if you're monitoring your competitors, it'll tell you whenever a new website or a new reference is made about them. If it's monitoring your key staff, if they get mentioned online, then within about 24 hours of them being mentioned, you'll get an email and you can go and look and see what people are saying. So it's quite useful. Social mention is probably the sister tool, and it covers a few of the sites and social media platforms that Google Alerts doesn't pick up. So between the two of them, any time someone talks about your business online, you'll know about within about 24 or 48 hours, which gives you a chance to step in and respond if it's a customer service issue. There's lots of CRM tools out there, and these are customer relationship management tools, and it allows you to keep an idea of or keep a control of all your contact information. So you can track and follow conversations, you can schedule all your follow-ups, you can set reminders, you can pull in information from your clients and your leads' social media sites, so you can get an idea of what they're interested in and what they're talking about. And it's just a way of following up with people who are interested. So there's a whole heap of ones out there. Again, Salesforce, Highrise, a Sugar CRM. And there's some interesting ones too, which we can actually track IP address visits to your website. And they'll go and take that IP address for the computer that's visited your website, and look it up against a database and come back and tell you what companies have been looking at your website. And that gives you a chance then to go back out to that company and either if it's a small company, find out the owner of who it is. But in any regard, someone from that company has been on your website and are vaguely interested in what you do. So it gives you an idea of what companies are visiting your website. So different tools there. Slightly more advanced is the idea of a launch funnel. So this can be a one-off event, or you can have this run continuously, what they call an evergreen launch. And the idea here is, again, that you give away great information in video format generally, or in some other formats. So when people come, they will opt in, leave their email address to get a freebie, free information or free training. And then you follow up over the next couple of days with more free training when they come back to the website. And over the next few days, the videos or the information unlocks, and you lead them through a process where you prove the results work. You basically do a results in advance campaign. So you give them information, get them a little bit of a result, and then you say, well, look, if that was really good, then imagine how much you'd get if you actually paid us. And then you have a sales on the end of it. So instead of going for the sales straight up front, you establish a great relationship and great trust by giving away great information and lead them to the sale. Once they trust you, once they know that what you're doing can actually get them results. So that's a pretty advanced technique. And the other thing is just simply, if you've got a product or service which you can sell online, is to look at e-commerce solutions, so some kind of shopping cart, so you can be selling things 24/7 rather than being limited to business hours. So that is a whole bunch of things you can be looking at to increase the percentage of visitors and leads who convert into new customers. Now, many businesses spend a lot of time concentrating on getting new leads and new clients in the door without actually focusing on people who have already made the decision to buy from you or deal with you, which is your existing customer database. So next we're going to jump in now and look at some of the things you can use online to engage and keep in contact with your existing customers. And I guess the aspect here is you've got a certain fixed customer base, and what we're going to do is look at our percentage of retention. So we want to have our retention of our current customers as high as possible. So we've already talked a couple of times about an email or an SMS database. And in many cases, people will leave us just due to neglect more than anything else, rather than price or anything. So using a database like this allows us to keep in contact with people and keep top of mind and keep that relationship active rather than just letting it go cold. So the advantage that a dedicated marketing system like this gives you is it gives you the management. So it lets you handle subscriptions, so people can subscribe to your database, and they can also take them off as well. So there's a whole heap of spam laws, international and the Australian spam laws as well, that govern email and SMS marketing. So you need to have at least a look at those. But using a system like this will generally keep you in the clear of those laws rather than having to worry about it yourself. So one example would be taking people off when they're asked to unsubscribe. Now, if you're doing that manually and you're using something like Outlook, then the problem is if you forget to do that, or if your staff forget to actually take them off the list and you keep emailing them, then there's quite severe penalties legally for that. So just using one of these systems just takes that sort of stress away. So one example you can use would be I've seen used is an autoresponder series. So this is a series that goes out automatically once someone's added to the list and it's triggered. So a company in America sells sugar gliders, and over time they know that when someone goes home with a sugar glider, that after the first week they're going to start coming up with certain problems, and then the same thing with the second and third week. So what they do is they fill the autoresponder with information that people need to know at relevant times with their sugar glider. So as people are running or about to run into the problem that their customers have, the information arrives with the solution. So they've automated some of their customer service and education and I guess after sales service with an autoresponder. The same thing with your newsletters. You can run newsletters off it. Again, I'm not going to recommend you put on your website and say subscribe to our newsletter, because very few people will actually do that. We've got enough email coming in. Very few people want more information into their inbox. So generally it will need some kind of lead magnet, so free tips, free giveaway, checklist to have people opt into your mailing list. But you can use it for all kinds of things. The Super Butcher mails out regularly as far as the frequency goes, so they'll have a special that goes out on Tuesday and one that goes out on Friday. So how often you mail out to your database just depends on the type of business, but you want to do it at least regularly. So if you are doing it monthly, you want to do it every month, and if you're doing it weekly, every week. And if it's too much for people, they'll take themselves off. So you've just got to find your own happy medium there. But the idea is that it's keeping you top of mind, so if they need your service again, then they well and truly remember that you're out there. And at the same time, you're establishing, again, that credibility and that market leadership in what you're mailing out. So that's the idea behind having a database to contact. And again, if it's quite large, you can contact all those people for free rather than have to go run ads in the newspaper to go and get new people into your business. So your Facebook page, again, is very important for keeping in contact with your current client and your database that way. It becomes a sort of a community interaction. You want to work it that way so that your current customers will come back and talk to you and chat about different things, and you can update them with information through your Facebook page, and they can talk to each other. So that's one aspect. Another thing, again, is back to that support desk, is being able to provide high levels of customer service and support by being able to track any kind of problems through to resolution. And the support desk will do that for you. Will track anything and the messages from your company back out to your clients, and anyone can jump in. You can jump in and see how your staff are handling client issues through a support desk rather than having it stuck in email inboxes again. Surveys are a great way to find out what your customers are thinking about your service, but also about what their needs are. So if you've got a certain customer base that you're selling to or providing services to, they may have needs that you don't quite meet. And so you can either modify your product, or you can come up with a new service or new product which meets those needs. So surveys are a great way of getting information back. And again, it all makes people feel appreciated that you're asking for their opinion. Send out cards is another product you can look at, or another service, and allows you to again mull out cards. So you create a physical card online through putting in your pictures and your information and your contact database, and they'll actually print out a physical card, put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, and put it in the mail. So you can send people cards for birthdays, or just, again, a monthly reminder. And you can imagine how many times you get a card in the mail from a business. So if you're using this kind of service, you're going to stand out from your competitors. And again, it's all about appreciation and building that relationship and keeping it warm with your current client database. Mobile app is great as well, because again, if you've got your app installed on their phone, you can reach out to them through the push notifications and let them know about specials and get them back into your store or back into your business to come talk to you again, so you can continue to sell and keep improving their situation. So it's a couple of ways you can be leveraging the internet to maintain that retention rate so that you don't lose your customers. And then the combination of your new customers and your returning customers obviously gives you your total customers. This next section, we're going to be walking through how we can increase our price, our size, and our frequency to increase our revenue, and reduce our costs by using the internet to obviously increase our overall profit. And then there's a whole heap of different tools and services that we can use just to make our business admin, the running of our business, quicker, easier, simpler. And in many cases, you can do it online from anywhere you can get to the internet connection or a mobile phone. And taking a leaf from all the good thrillers and movies and series out there, we're actually going to end on a bit of a cliffhanger here now, just purely because we're out of time and we're sort of reaching the limits of your attention and your endurance. So we're going to stop here, and I'm going to jump to some action steps you can put into place straight away. If you want to find out more information and actually go through the rest of this presentation, then you can head over to redcliffemarketinglabs.com.au and opt into the free resources there in the email database. One that'll give you a introduction. You can see how the autoresponder and the email database works, but I'll also have the recording of this last part of the presentation there available for you to watch for free. So let's jump straight down now to some things you can be doing, some action steps that you can start straight away or this week in your business. So the first thing you want to do is jump onto the Google local page. So search for your suburb or your city and the type of service or product that you deliver, and see if you come up. And if not, then you want to be Googling and looking for the Google local page listing or the Google Plus local. And you want to claim that listing, be able to put in, make sure it's fully filled out with your website, your contact details, photos that show off your product and service, and have all that information in there. And again, there's lots of information online about how to claim your Google local listing. If you don't have a Facebook page, then again, this is all the low-hanging fruit. You can go grab a Facebook page. Again, just Google how to make a Facebook page. If nothing else, it's going to give you another result in the search engines when people look for your business. But it's much more than that. It's very easy to update, put your pictures and proof up there, and get the people to start following you. And again, it's a separate marketing database that you can use to contact people who are interested in your business without having to pay for it. LinkedIn profile on a page is one of those activities that is just one-off. You just do it and then it's done. Now, obviously, if you want to get more out of it, you can be active on there. But let's be realistic, for most of us, for our time, we just don't have time to do everything. But one thing you do have time for is to go on LinkedIn, create a personal profile, put some information up there, which controls your personal branding. When people look for your name, you can have control of what they see. And again, for your company, to be able to put your company page up on LinkedIn. Google Alerts is that free tool from Google, which helps you with your reputation online, your online management of your reputation. And you want to set that up for your name, your business name, any key employees that you have. And if you're so inclined, you can also be monitoring what your competitors are doing as well. And again, that will email you whenever Google finds new websites or new pages which contain your company name or your name. If you don't have a website yet, you really need to, weigh it up, the cost versus the benefit. And if you look at where you can be spending money elsewhere in your business, it's probably going to be pretty hard to find something that's going to give you more return than a website, just because it's out there 24/7 and it gives people a chance to find you after hours when your doors are normally shut. Along the same lines is your email address. So tying in with your website, you want to grab the domain name that you want to use or best fits your business, and at least grab that and hold on to it. And you're talking, $20 a year to grab a domain name. So it's not a big cost. And that ties in with your email address is, don't have a big pond or an Optisnet address for your business. Have it running off your domain name. If nothing else, you may, and again, I talked about this earlier, but if you've got a big pond email address for your business, that ties you in with Telstra. So you may work out later on that you'd be better off paying for Optus for your internet and access like that. But you can't, because all your business cards, all your information out there has your big pond address on it. So you're locked in, you can't change internet providers. Whereas if you've got a custom domain name for your business, so Joe's Plumbing, then you can be with whatever internet provider you want. And it doesn't matter, you can swap and change without having to change your business email address. Online reviews are super important. So you need to be going out and asking for people for those and trying to get them wherever you can. Because the sooner you get them up there now, the better it's going to help with your ranking. It's going to help with your conversion of people to new customers. And it's going to protect you if you do have someone leave a bad review rather than just having bad reviews about you online. So you really need to start chasing online reviews wherever you can. there's many cases of 20-year-old businesses, and they've got one review online. That's it. That's one person said anything about them online for a 20-year-old business. And you get the handout. So in the handout from this presentation, whether it's under this video, and if you can't find it here, the link will be back at redcliffemarketinglabs.com.au. We'll have a link to all the tools that I've talked about and all the websites that we've chatted about. And you'll be able to go through and access a whole heap of resources there. So look, thank you very much, folks, for hanging in there and listening. And let's jump through here now. There we go, very professional. Get back to the start. So what we've been going through is how you can be using the internet to leverage your business. And it really is just a crash course. The whole idea is to let you know some of the stuff you may not have known before that you can now go and look up and research and cherry pick the things that are of interest to you. There's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of things you can do, but again, you just got to start with one thing, work on it, rather than being overwhelmed by everything that's out there. So this has been part of the series for the Redcliffe Chamber of Commerce. My name is Mick Cullen, and look, thanks very much for listening, and I hope you got a whole heap of information from it. Cheers.